Hello there. I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about the breathing exercise. Now, you'll be using the breathing exercise from module 1 all the way through the whole process, right the way through from start to finish. And most people actually continue using it once they've even completed the process because of the benefits that they feel. Now, the breathing exercise itself is intended, as explained in the course content, to engage parasympathetic activity and draw down the sympathetic activity from the sympathetic nervous system. So when we start off and we're feeling anxious, you've got quite a gap between the two parts of the autonomic nervous system. And by using little and often, regular and consistent breath work and relaxation, you can actually engage parasympathetic activity to draw down the arousal. So rather than there being a big gap, which there very often is when we've got high levels of arousal, then the parasympathetic nervous system is able to activate and draw down arousal. So that is the main reason for using the breath work and relaxation. However, what the breath work exercise in this process is for is to do that, plus you're starting to take control of where your mind goes, so that you train your mind to go to where you put it. Now, in order to do that, the breath work is in two parts. You've got part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is where you give all of your attentional focus either onto the feel of the air as you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. It's cool air as you breathe in through the nose, warm air as you breathe out through the mouth. You give all of your attention to that. The alternative, which many people find easier than focusing on the air, is the rise and fall of the tummy. So it's the sensation, the feeling of the tummy rising and falling as you breathe in and out. That is what you give your attention to. So you've got a choice, whichever you find easier. Try them both out to see which one suits you best. Now, when you start using this, your attention will wander. It may wander off to what you've got to do later on in the day. It may wander off to thinking about what you've got to do tomorrow. With tinnitus, very often what does happen is your attention will be drawn to the tinnitus. Now, this is the reason why I use the two parts of this breath work. This is so that right from the word go, you are beginning to take control of what your mind does, to take control of your attention. So when you first start, we'll say, for example, you're going to use the rise and fall of the tummy. If you rest your hand on your tummy until you know you've used it for several days and you know what the feeling is, the sensation that you're going to give your focus to, you give your focus to that, your mind will go off. It will go off and wander. Draw it back to focusing on the feel of the rise and fall of the tummy. The mind will wander off again. Draw it back. Focus again on the feel of the rise and fall of the tummy. Now, another interesting thing with this exercise is it is natural breathing that you're using. So there's none of this deep breathing. There is none of the holding of the breath. In fact, if you've got anxiety, you're probably doing that a lot anyway without even realizing it. It isn't that, it's natural breathing. And when we are using natural breathing, it means that we don't see any movement really around here. There's literally just this very gentle rise and fall of the tummy as you breathe in and breathe out. Now you'll see I'm just going to take a couple of in and out breaths so you can see for yourself. Breathing out. Breathing out. So there was no movement to see in the top half of my body there. All that was happening was I could feel cool air as it was going in through my nose and warm air as it was coming out through my mouth. And I could also feel my tummy rising and falling. Now, this part one of the exercise, it really doesn't take long, because after your mind has wandered 3, maybe 4 times, it's time then to start on part 2, which really part 2 of the breathing exercise is simply to complete it. It's to finish it off. And it's 20 breaths altogether. So it's breathing in, breathing out. That's 1. Breathing in, breathing out. Count 2. Breathing in, breathing out. 3. Breathing in, breathing out. 4. All the way up to 10. And then the next breath, breathing in, breathing out. 9. Breathing in, breathing out. 8. And continue back down to 1 again. And that's the exercise completed. So as I say, when you first begin this exercise, it's a good idea to use it very regularly throughout the day, as I refer to in the notes. So half a dozen times during the day, a couple of minutes each time, where use part 1, whereby you're starting to train your mind to go to where you put it. And within a few weeks, and probably less than that for most people, within a couple of weeks, you'll start to realise that your mind isn't wandering off, nowhere near as much as it is at the moment anyway. So none of us, unless we practice, and we're very well practiced at meditation, none of us can actually maintain a focus for much longer than, I reckon I'm quite well practiced, and my concentration, I can probably only keep it up for, I've never timed it, I imagine it's 30, 40 seconds. So with you to start with, you'll still be spending 30 or 40 seconds on part 1, but you'll be actually noticing your mind wandering, bring it back, do it again. And the more you practice this little and often, but regular and consistent practice, will enable you to improve how you're able to maintain focus. So you're doing 2 things. With part 1, you're improving your attentional focus, taking control of your focus, and you are engaging parasympathetic nervous system activity. And then the count to finish off is literally just the count. If you can maintain your focus, that's even better. But it's really 20 breaths to complete the exercise. Thank you for listening.